Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Governor Andy Beshear visits some of the hardest hit communities during last week's historic flooding. And cases of looting lead to curfews being placed across our already devastated region.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. 6 o'clock on this Monday. I'm Dakota McRoberts. Good morning to you. I'm happy to be back with you all, and let's take it over to Brandon for a look at our forecast this morning. Brandon, I hated that I was off last week. You know, I took it, obviously nobody knew the flooding was going to happen, and then it happened, and I felt so bad for being off, and I wanted to get back. But yesterday I was able to cover the governor here in Kentucky, and I know a new flood advisory came down this morning, right? It lasts until 8:45. I just saw that on Facebook.
We've got a few things going on this morning, but we take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, and we're going to show you some of that rain this morning, and it's still coming down, and it's still heavy in some areas. So we're going to continue to kind of track that for you. We're looking basically from Owsley County over through parts of Pike County is the first wave, and then there's another lighter one basically from parts of Madison County over into West Virginia. So again, be careful out there this morning. Very saturated ground. The high knob camera over at UVA Wise showing again some raindrops on the camera this morning. 68 over that. That's one of our cooler spots in the region, along with Wayne and Ashland. Everybody else is in the 70s. 82 is our forecast high, but we might actually be closer to our average high if we see some sunshine, which is 85. The record for today, 97 back in 1995. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear toured hard-hit counties devastating by historic flooding, and sadly, dozens of people lost their lives. The governor expects that number to increase.
This is home, right? It's home.
Governor Andy Beshear made stops Sunday in hard-hit Perry, Knott, and Letcher counties, talking with reporters, local leaders, and getting a close look at the devastation left behind from the deadly flooding. On Saturday, President Joe Biden added individual assistance from FEMA to the major disaster declaration he approved.
That is the fastest that I've seen individual assistance granted to a community after disaster. We're grateful, but it is also desperately needed. And we've got to admit that the families are going to need even more on top.
The governor says as of Sunday, 28 people are confirmed dead, but they are finding more bodies, and some families are even trying to find their loved ones. The state does not have a firm number of people missing.
If I can give people just a glimmer of hope, we did find a lot of people in the West that we feared the worst for, and as cell phone coverage picked up in the days that followed, we found a lot of people that we reunited with their families, and boy, we are praying.
In Knott and Perry counties, leaders discussed running water access. The governor says many systems were wiped out.
We have water coming in from the Floyd County side, but they're not allowing us to fill our tanks up yet. We have a few people that do have water. The Knott County side, they are charging their tanks up before they can release it to us.
Leaders say if you want to donate, you can donate water to donation centers or money to the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky.
These people need a place to stay. They need a hotel room. They may need to rent a car to get back to work. That's why they need that.
County officials confirmed 5 deaths to us on Sunday, 4 in Perry County and 1 in Letcher. Well, these are not included in the official number of 28 released by the governor. Also yesterday, Breathitt County Sheriff John Holland reported a flood-related death to us as well. The governor says the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund will also pay for the funerals of flood victims. Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate Charles Booker went to Letcher County to donate supplies. Letcher County Central High School has been a hub for supplies in the area. People from all across the county have lined up to get water, food, anything that they need. Booker says he felt like being there was a priority.
In the hard times, we don't back down, we stand up, and when we saw this flood hitting and heard the news and all the devastation, and you know, I have loved ones here that have lost everything, I just did what I was taught to do. You stand up for family.
Booker says the images bring tears to everyone's eyes, even outside the region. Well, the floods have brought out many terrifying stories, but we also heard of remarkable acts from communities throughout the region during the tragic times. Our Chandler Wilcox details how the McRoberts community had to rebuild a bridge in order for vehicles to get in and out of the town.
2 bridges lead into McRoberts. One connects the town to Neon until the flood hit and created a massive gap.
That entire middle section was gone. It washed the entire bridge out, yes.
In response, the McRoberts community came together at Benny McCall's house to come up with a reconstruction plan.
And early that morning, I had some folks come up and meet me in my front lawn, and we got together and they said, you know, we've got a plan. We need to get out of here, you know, in case ambulance or something needs to get in.
They borrowed an excavator, gathered supplies in the pouring rain, and made a bridge in under 4 hours.
Mr. Yantz run our excavator for us, and he was fantastic. Phenomenal job. He's got years of experience, of course, running heavy equipment, and we actually brought the culvert from down the road quite a bit, drug it up with the excavator, and when he rolled it in there, we sort of just took pieces of the roadway off, and that's what we built the actual bridge with.
McCall says he has never seen a community come together like they did during the flooding. And McRoberts, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, McCall also said both bridges leading into McRoberts are now functional. Well, while the makeshift bridge has brought a jolt of joy to the McRoberts community, it is still dealing with a lot of destruction. Homes can be seen crashing into other homes, vehicles into guardrails, and more destruction. A McRoberts local Amanda Smith says many have worked tirelessly just to open up the roads.
We had to work together to get this out of the road. Her home was completely destroyed, but that little building was in the road completely.
Smith says people in the community fear mudslides could continue falling and potentially destroy their homes. The Letcher County Sheriff's Office will be enforcing a mandatory curfew. In a post on its Facebook page, officials said the curfew will last from midnight to 6 a.m., with the only exceptions being for work, medical emergencies, and first responders. The post said the curfew for side-by-sides, four-wheelers, and similar vehicles is from dark to daylight. The post said, quote, "We will not tolerate anyone taking advantage of our already vulnerable community," end quote. Well, there's also a new curfew in the city limits of Humane because of looting. In a Facebook post made yesterday, Mayor Tracy Neese announced the curfew starts at sunset and ends at sunrise. He says multiple law enforcement agencies have been notified of the curfew. In the post, the mayor also says if you are caught looting or trespassing, you will be arrested. He says he will pursue every charge to its fullest extent. Also, the Perry County Sheriff's Office arrested 3 people for looting Thursday night. Sheriff Joe Ingles says it happened in the lower Lost Creek area. The people involved were taken to the Kentucky River Regional Jail. He says our communities are hurting and his office will not tolerate this type of activity.
If you're trying to take advantage of people in this situation, we're going to find you, we're going to hunt you down, we're going to lock you up and put you in jail and let the criminal justice system and our prosecutors will not have mercy on anyone taking advantage of people.
Sheriff Ingles said there is not an actual charge for looting, but it is considered theft, which is a misdemeanor. He says his deputies are patrolling the hardest hit communities, especially at night. If you think someone is looting, you are asked to call 911. This past weekend, the Kentucky Humane Society in Louisville transported more than 100 animals from shelters in eastern Kentucky to KHS facilities. While the animals came from shelters in Hazard and Prestonsburg, the Humane Society also delivered some supplies to the shelters there. Officials say taking in those animals that were in the shelters before the flooding will free up room for local shelters to help reunite lost pets with families and also be able to take in any more pets surrendered.
.09 here on this Monday morning. We have a new alert to tell you about. A new flood advisory just issued a couple of minutes ago for parts of Breathitt, Floyd, not Letcher and Perry counties. This is kind of the areas that were hardest hit back last week, not yesterday, but it seemed like yesterday. We're going to continue to see again the areas included most of Knott County there, including Humane, and back out toward some of those other hard hit areas. It's the northern sliver of parts of Letcher County there, and then over into southern Breathitt County and northern Perry County. So again, just keep an eye on it. It goes until 9:15 this morning. Live pinpoint Doppler radar, more rain moving into some of those hard hit areas this morning. So we're going to continue to watch those very carefully. No active reports of flooding, but I can tell you from personal experience, there is some ponding water out there this morning. So just be extra careful, slow it down, give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. I-75 at Corbin, no major issues down that way this morning. Temperatures basically running in the 60s and 70s, and there's a bit of a breeze out there this morning. I actually went to move my car to another parking spot during the A block of one of the newscasts earlier and noticed that. 82 this afternoon unless we get more sunshine. Scattered chances for showers and storms throughout the day. Headlines for the rest of the day and the week. Flood watch continues until 8. Strong storms are possible tonight. Summer heat returns as we head deeper into the forecast. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. It's almost 6:11. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, we take a moment to remember the lives lost to one of the most aggressive forms of cancer. Stay with us.